Hello interwebs and welcome to Let's Fix Computers. I'm doing an old one today. This is an iMac G4, sometimes known as the desk lamp iMac, with the super awesome pivoting screen. I love these things, they're amazing. But this has a failed hard drive in it. So since these are a little bit more entertaining to take apart, I thought I'd set the camera up for this one. So yeah, I will show you how it's done, hopefully from start to finish. We might have a little bit of software involved in this one with diagnosing the drive and maybe backing it up, that kind of thing. So we'll see how far we get. So I'm going to start off by laying it down flat like this. The bottom plate is going to come off, so we're going in through the bottom here. So I'm just putting that face down. As you can see, I've got a carpet tile here just to protect the front end. And we start by taking off this aluminium base plate, which is Phillips screwdrivers. This one's been apart before, so these screws are a little bit rounded, so I can't really tell what they're supposed to be. That gives us access to the second RAM slot and the airport card. These things were a little bit bizarre, is they've got a full-length DDR slot on the inside, and then they had a SD SODIMM RAM slot as the expansion one on the bottom. So as I say, the memory upgrades for these are really bizarre because you actually use a complete mixture in them. So my personal advice, if you're trying to do one of these up, is not to. They are repairable, as I'm demonstrating here, but if you're trying to sort of snazz one up for office use, you are probably barking up the wrong tree, to be honest. I spoke to the customer about this one and I said, are you sure you want me to go ahead with this? Because, you know, I know they're charming, but it's a bit over the hill. But he was fully aware that he could only run maybe 10.5 on it, and he was fully aware that his internet experience would be a little bit affected and it wouldn't be very quick. So I said, fine, if you're aware of that and you're happy, then I will replace the hard drive for you. So here we are. But as I say, my advice, unless you've got a good reason, I wouldn't bother with these, to be honest. This is a T15 screwdriver I'm using here. Probably one of the biggest Torx heads you'll ever encounter on a computer. Right. I don't need to remove any of this. The bottom is going to come off. Now we need to be careful because there are wires and all sorts clinging on, so just pull them apart gently. Just slowly rotate it if you need to. Just to there we go. Right, and just very slowly pull it apart and have a look. Now, what we need to watch out for, there are 1, 2, 3 cables holding this one on. We've got the power cable here. This actually has a removable point. If I pull this out slightly and pull this out, we should find, there it is, a disconnection point there. And if I get onto that earthing point, just turn this around so you can see it again. I just undo this earth screw as well. There we go, that's that. Then there's another one there, there's the antenna for the wireless. That also has a disconnect. Unplug him. Then we have an IDE cable which is connecting the hard drive and the CD-ROM drive. That just pulls off of the logic board as well, like that. Now the last one, this is one that we need to be super careful of, is the display cable. Now there's a few variations on how this disconnects, and I've broken one of these before, so I'm very, very paranoid. And we've got another one, we've got a power cable as well. This is one of those ones where you just keep finding them. That is a pinch. What is that? Yeah, that's a pinch and remove job. There we go, that's coming straight off the motherboard. Okay, right. Now this display connector, sometimes these, we've got a little cover that's come off there. Right, this is a sideways one. So it's going to move that direction to disconnect like that. There we go, so it's a little 90 degree connector. Some of them come straight off, some of them go off sideways. You need to be very careful because I've had one just break clean off the logic board before. And when it was a mortifying moment. It just went and yeah, that was an expensive repair for me. So yeah, you only make that mistake once. So that's removed now. This will want a good bit of a dust out. Just to give you a bit of information, we've got a dial-up modem here. There's the other RAM module. There's the BIOS battery, the old style Mac ones. This will want a good dust out. The actual CPU, that's the G4 processor under there. We've got a heat pipe to this heatsink here. Now that heatsink contacts a corresponding plate there. No, I can't tell that towards you. And they've just got some thermal paste between them. And so literally the heat is piped over there, then goes up through the side, up to a cooling fan at the top. So it's quite a clever cooling system, really. The whole thing is very compact. It's arguably a little bit complicated. It would be easier modern days, but then these days, of course, they would use laptop parts instead of desktop parts. So, right, I'm going to give this a quick dust out, and then we'll get to work on this fella. Alright, so next up, this drive cage is going to come out. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 screws holding that in. Again, we're still on the T15. Oh, that feels a bit smaller actually. Let's just try dropping down to a T10 for that. Not sure if badly fitting T15 or T10. Either way, the T10 is turning it, so it might be a T12 or something that's not in this screwdriver set. Alright, now one of the difficulties here is the cables are all bunched up. I can't remember how this comes out. I think it just all pulls out, but it's a bit of a mess. Ah, I'm missing a screw. There's another one here. 6 screws in total. This 6th one is next to the heatsink that I pointed out earlier. That's more like it. So I'm just moving this out gently. I've got to... Ah, there we go. That just broke clean off. Oh no, it didn't break. It just came open. We're okay. Not that it would have mattered, to be honest. Right. So we'll disconnect these power leads and then I can put all this down. Being ancient Molex connectors, expect these ones to give you problems. There we go. Dust! Okay. Let's give you a quick view as to what we've got left over. That's what it looks like on the inside. What we've got there, we've got the cooling fan at the top. This is the power supply on both sides. There's a few connecting wires between them. And as you can see, we've just got all the other cables that come down. A little speaker there. And that's about it. So surprisingly simple, just a bit of a pig to get into. Right, Right, I'm going to put this back down. There, that'll do. Right, let's have a look at this drive cage. Okay. Right, we need to remove this plastic cover. And then you can unscrew these drives. If you're completely mad and you're trying to soup one of these up, you can replace the DVD drive. It's a bog standard IDE connection or parallel ATA. Any drive will work with it. All you need to do is remove the front bezel, leaving just the tray bezel, well, or just the bare tray, and that will, you can replace this with a standard drive, and it will work and it will fit in. Just remove that front plastic bezel. So you could replace it with a DVD burner or dual layer DVD drive. Again, I wouldn't bother, but if one was so inclined, you could. So put that out the way and lick my hand as it's bleeding for some reason or other. Probably going to catch some kind of medieval disease from this dust. Right, and here's our old hard drive. So this rubber cover was some dodgy shock design thing from days gone by. They all seem to have this same hard drive in. This is 60 gigabytes. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put this on test just to verify that it's definitely dead and see if I can recover any data from it. So I'll see you after the break. Well, to test the drive, I'm using a USB to IDE adapter here. This will convert to 2.5-inch IDE, 3.5-inch or serial ATA. Then I've got a standalone power supply that goes to a Molex connector here. However, I've just plugged this fella in and it's not even spinning up. The drive is stone dead. There's no one at home at all. So this is kind of dead in the water before we get started. I was going to demonstrate running C-tools on it and maybe recovering some data and stuff, but it's stone dead. So this is a non-starter. So past that, I may as well go hunting for another hard drive in the spares box and get this thing reassembled. This is a drive I've just found in my spares box. It's an 80 gigabyte hard drive, again with the IDE connections on it. This is actually untested, so I'm going to run C-tools on this drive instead, so I'll demonstrate that. Now you'll notice this is an Apple label hard drive. This doesn't actually mean anything at all. It just means it's an OEM drive that has come from another Apple computer. You can actually use any hard drive in an Apple, and likewise you can use Apple hard drives in ordinary PCs. It's just a branding showing that it was manufactured for Apple, but there's no actual technical differences at all. So let's take a look at C-tools and see if this thing actually works. Okay, so here we are on my workstation with the drive connected via USB. I'm going to go ahead and start up C-tools for Windows. There is a DOS version available, but I tend to use the Windows version. It's just simpler than having to restart. So just maximize that. So there is our USB connected drive. I'm going to do a short test on this just to sanity check it. Now the short test, if it passes a short test, it doesn't mean anything at all. Because the short test, it will scan the outside of the drive, the inside of the drive, and a random selection in the middle. It's a confidence test basically. So it may give you a fail answer within sort of 2 minutes instead of waiting for like 2 hours to scan the entire drive. But if it passes this test, it doesn't mean that the drive is okay. It just might give you a fail answer within a short amount of time. So we'll just let that blitz through and then we'll see if we need to run another test. Okay, so that short test has passed, so I'm immediately going to kick on to a long test. We're not going to do a sector repair on this because we want a straight answer. So we'll hit OK, and off it goes. This one is going to take a while. I would allow for a minimum of 2 hours for a long test. It varies from drive to drive, so leave it basically. So we'll blitz through this and we'll come back after the flash. Alright, so there's our highly abbreviated C-tools full drive scan. As you see from the clock, it's a significant amount of time later now. So this driver's passed, so it's A-OK. So we'll go ahead, safely remove that, and get that fitted back to the iMac again. Alright, so that is one working hard drive. Let's get this fitted to our iMac. I can never remember where this cable goes, so I'm just going to plug it in and just hope for the best. Let's try that, see how that works. That points down. Yeah, I think we're right. And this is now, there's something wrong here. That's the wrong way around, I think. That is now free to come down, I think. Feels a bit strange, that. I don't remember that cable being a bit that awkward. Right, now we've just got to wrestle this back in. This is exactly what it looks like, to be honest. Ow! Spiky things. That goes in under there. It's just a matter of just pushing it all in, basically, and just trying to make sure that the cable's clear corners. Alright, I think that's alright. Yep, that's fully in, so we'll screw it in place. Right, now this is going to go in this way round, so the RAM can go into this empty space up here. So we'll get the display cable connected up first. Let's turn around so you guys can hopefully see what I'm doing. Right, just connecting everything up bit by bit. Now, before you actually plumb it all in, you've got to make sure that all the cables have somewhere to go. So try and thread them in as best you can in advance. Just need that earth cable in as well. Right, so as you can see, that's all going to push into place. I think the only one that's laying across anywhere is the display cable, but that's flat enough for us to get away with that. So let's try for a close. I'm just staring into this side just to make sure that locator connector goes in, which it has. Look at that, first time I think. Just have a quick look, see if, yeah, the DVD drive is lined up there. We're looking good. So, let's drill in these, and I think we're about done. Whew. Right. I'm just pondering whether to put in some extra memory. This is a 256 module. I think I'm going to try and fit a bit more to that if I have it. No, I think we've only got 512 in this, which means we're probably going to have to put 10.4 Tiger on it. I really don't think we're going to get away with 10.5 with half a gig of RAM. But that is what the customer was expecting, so I think that's what we'll be going for. So, let's get the last bit on there. Don't forget to line up the screw holes when you put this plate on, because there's no locating pegs at all. Okay, let's find some power. There we go. Okay, right, so what we've got, interesting, looks like there's some old data on this hard drive. That's going to be hilarious if that boots up. It seems to be having a pretty good shot at it. If this is from another Mac, I would expect it to come up with the access denied message straight away. However, that seems to be having quite a good shot of booting. Wow! Right, what do we got here? That looks suspiciously like 10.4, which is probably why I managed to boot. It's entirely possible that this hard drive is from another iMac G4. Oh yeah, there we go. Fair enough. However, I haven't got a clue what the password is. Well, there's not much to learn here because in order to reset that password, I would need to boot from. I need to boot from a macOS disk, and then I would be able to reset the password using the password reset utility. However, if I'm going to go to the trouble of booting it from a disk, I may as well go ahead and reformat this and reinstall it anyway. If we'd been able to get through without a password, I would have been half tempted just to refurbish that install of macOS to save some time, but I don't think there's any need for that. Let's see if this thing works. Alright, I'm going to hold down the Option key. This is the Open Firmware boot menu, the old style one. The new ones have been, well, all Intel Macs use UEFI. They had it years before Windows computers did. That's promising. One of the catches with trying to put 10.5 on a G4 is that 10.5 is a dual layer DVD, if my memory serves me. It's about weighs in about 6 or 7 gigs. It's quite a big image. And these iMac G4s, they're new enough to have DVD drives, but I think they can't read dual layer discs, which is one of the things that makes installing 10.5 on them such a pain in the ass. There are ways around this, but it's still a pain. But what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to get 10.4 on it, and then I'm going to copy over the 10.5 image, and I'm going to see if it will meet the minimum system requirements. There's our reset password utility. This utility is what I want. While I'm here, check out the mad response time on this monitor, it's crazy. Damn, I did read that right. 1.9 gigabytes for the complete install. That's not half bad. I think we're done here for now. If I do something interesting with 10.5, I will come back. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time. Ta-ta!